something called Kabioye. It's a song done by you. When we come back, there's still more conversation. We'll talk about your projects, we'll talk about your albums, and we'll talk about what you're doing in Nigeria at the moment. And there's still so much for us to enjoy on the radio station. It is Mainland FM 98.3. We'll join you back shortly.
Really stand
Welcome back on the show. That was ᴏᴜᴜ Mṛ. It's Mainland FM. It is the sound of Lagos. Afro Time-Out is the show. My name is Jaydan, reporting for GT this wonderful day. ᴏᴜᴜ is our guest on the show. ᴏᴜᴜ is a two-time Grammy winner. Is also remarkably known as the first Nigerian to win a Grammy. First Grammy was in the year 2006 for his work on Ali Farkas Toure in the Heart of the Moon, where he was credited with 3 tracks. He also won the second Grammy in 2009 for his work on Cassandra Wilson's album titled Lovely. We are streaming live on our platform, on our Instagram, on our Facebook and our YouTube platform. There's Mainland 98.3 FM, and you can as well join us, drop your comments, and for sure there's so much that you enjoy with our conversation on the radio. We'll reach back to him and we'll continue our conversation with the legendary ᴏᴜᴜ Mṛ, who is very much joining us on the show as our guest on Afro Time-Out this wonderful Thursday afternoon in the city of Lagos. The conversation can only get better because you are important to us, and that's what we try to do every time that we're on this frequency. We bring you the best, nothing short of the best, on this radio station. Back to the music. We'll have to wait for our guests to connect back to us, and there's still so much for you to enjoy. We talk about his relationship with a lot of the artists he's performed with. We also talk about what he's doing in Nigeria at the moment, and there's so much for him. He would have been in the studio today, but he just launched a book that is currently being is in the middle of his book launch somewhere at the Freedom Park on Lagos Island, and has promised to grant us a video interview. Maybe you get to see it on our YouTube platform on the radio. It is Mainland FM 98.3. Our guest is back with us. Okay, sir, I'm with you.
Hello.
Yes. So yeah. I just played two songs from you. I played the song Kabioye and I played ᴜᴜᴜ.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So let's talk about your project. How many albums have you released in all of your 40-year plus active years performing?
I think this is the third album.
So, as an individual,
Songbook is my thought as an individual.
Yeah.
My first album is Songs of Icon, which is the music about the jazz version of all the way of life of the Orisha. Yeah, that I believe in. And my second album is Lakaye, which is a tribute to the icon of Ogun, Lakaye, which is a kind of a contemporary funk album. So we were visualizing and imagining Ogun as a funk master who was actually using the metal to kind of cut the edges and cut the path for clearing the path for humanity, you know. And my latest album, which is Aladura Songbook, is like a tribute and thank you to my father, who actually bestowed the music idea and musical knowledge onto me. So it's to say thank you to my father. Of course, I've produced other artists from Kate Locksmore, Cassandra Wilson, and few other. But those are the three albums I've put out under Lekan Babalola.
But let me take this. Let me ask you this: for someone who grew up in an Aladura setting, the switch into traditional African religion, when did you come into that ideology, into that reality that this was the way you were going to go?
Well, it's always there since when I was growing up, because my grandmother, she's an Oshubo from Iperu-Remo.
Okay.
My mother is from Iperu-Remo. My father is from Ileobo. And both Ileobo in Iwo, Ayedure local government of Osun State, and both families are Olorisha practitioners. My father's family, they're very rooted in Ogun practice. And my mother's family, they are very, very rooted in Oshala, which is Obatala, Oro, Egungun. And growing up now, with every Saturday, my grandmother would send me particularly to our family Babalao. We have a family Babalao for me to just be around Babalao. But when I do go to Babalao, I mean, the food, the chicken they use for the ritual entice me so much that I just end up going because of the food. But when I was growing up, when I went to England, the music of John Coltrane, the resonance of the saxophone, the tonality of John Coltrane's saxophone was kind of that resonance of that Yoruba tonality. So anytime I'm listening to John Coltrane, I feel I'm listening to the recitation of Odufa in the style of the melody of the way the Babalawo will recite Odufa or Iyere. And one day I had an epiphany that people, this is my way of thinking. And I had a dream that John Coltrane and Nat Blakey came to my room. Particularly John Coltrane gave me a tenor saxophone. I'm not a sax player, but John Coltrane in that dream said to me that this is your legacy, that you should look after it. And for about 2 weeks, when I was at Central St. Martin's School of Arts in London, where I studied fine arts paint, anytime I want to explain the dream to my friends, I will cry. And this took me on a journey that I started searching that what is Ifa, what is Odufa, what is Ifa to me as a young Yoruba from Nigeria. But if I didn't meet the music and the art form of John Coltrane, the jazz musician, I don't think I would practice the way of the Yoruba people. So I'm forever be grateful to the man called John Coltrane.
It's a fantastic jazz player. I can agree completely with you. Miles Davis, John Coltrane, amazing musicians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Let's talk about your influences, musical influences. First off, I know you're very much in love with the Afro beat of Fela Kuti, and I know you're close to Femi. You were at the shrine on Sunday.
Yes.
You came to enjoy what we enjoy every Sunday. It was nice to see you every. You played the role of a photographer properly. But let's talk about your musical influences. Who are the ones who influences your style of music? Both of the conga and on the conga.
I think my musical influence is not the people that played my instrument. I think my musical influence will come from Miles, man. I think Miles influenced me a lot. Miles was the influence, because Miles turned a lot of things around. He turned the music around, he turned the fashion around, he turned the attitude for musician, protection of jazz musician around. I think Miles was my influence.
Yeah. How about in Nigeria? What artists would you listen to anytime and anytime?
Well, I think anytime in Nigeria, I think my late cousin, my late uncle, Tᴜɪ̀ᴛᴛᴇʀ, he influenced me. Jimmy influenced me a lot about how we artists can maintain a family. Because, you know, sometimes when artists have a family, artists are selfishly into their work. So Tᴜɪ̀ᴛᴛᴇʀ managed to incorporate his family into his work. I think Jimmy definitely influenced me from Nigeria. He did influence me a lot, you know.
Yeah. So let's talk about the acceptance of your music on the London scene. In 2006, where you featured on the album that got you the very first Grammy, and to date, how easy is it to move from point A, every big stage, to the other? How easy is it for you? Do you struggle to get gigs, or do you think because of the legacy you have over time, it is easy to get a gig almost every weekend?
Well, it's still the same for musicians. It's not just only me. I mean, big names, Cassandra Wilson, big names, you know, and it's still kind of the same, because if the club owner doesn't have money to pay you, or festival, and in England, there's a kind of opportunity for musicians to apply for maybe a subsidy with the Art Council. So it's still a kind of a struggle for musicians generally. So we get by, and I'm not just running a music project in England. I run an organization called Yoruba Contemporary Art Trust for the last 30 years. I'm the creative director of the non-profit organization Yoruba Contemporary Art Trust, which is to foster the development of Yoruba art worldwide. And we do exhibitions, we do touring, we do educational projects, and we have a jazz festival for the last 8 years that I am the co-curator. I'm the curator and the co-founder of the Birchfield Jazz Festival in the north of Birmingham. The Birchfield Jazz Festival is a weekend celebration of local Birmingham contemporary music, of that African diaspora music sensibility. So the Birchfield Jazz Festival, we've been running that for the last 8 years. This year is going to be the 9th year. So I'm very grateful that I'm using my art college. I turn to an art administrator, producer, curator. So when I'm not playing music, I'm doing other art projects. So art is my 24 hours resident district.
Let me bring you to something more recent. I know on Saturday you launched a book. Tell us about it.
Well, I've just launched a book in Lagos. That's one of the 2 things I came to Lagos for. To pay my respect as a para for my late Tᴜɪ̀ᴛᴛᴇʀ, the late uncle, actor, musician, producer, playwright. And also, I stood behind to try and see my mentor, who's not here now. It's my mentor, my Baba, Professor Wole Soyinka. He's the life mentor for me, and one of the artists who has actually 70 decades of being an artist. You know, I'm very, very grateful that he's still alive. I love my Baba Jeda very, very, very much. And I am in Lagos to launch my book that I've just written, called The Sacred Art of Odufa, which is the celebration of the Odufa writing. And the book was designed by a fantastic designer, art designer, Lanre Lawal. So it's a joint book of text. I wrote the text, I paid the painting, and Lanre designed the look of the book. So I came to kind of receive what is called a share and blessing from my people here in Yoruba land, that everything I'm doing about this book around the world. The book is now been translated to Spanish. It's now been sold in 17 to 20 Latin American countries. So I am here in Lagos to launch my book, which was launched last week Saturday. And I'm very, very grateful for the turnout. I'm very grateful for my brother, Ebony Tᴡɪᴛᴛᴇʀ Harrison, the CEO of Ebony Funeral Home, who kindly, out of his busy schedule, to take time out to have time for me, his younger brother, to make sure that the book is well received in Lagos, Nigeria.
So talking about Ebony, that's that's somewhere around campus. I'm from that part of Lagos actually, so I know.
Well, I have known him for over 60 years now. I'm 63. I met Ebony when I was 15. We went to the same school, so he's been my brother forever since and he will always be. So he's my confidence in life, and he's my Lagos. You know, I was born at Massive Street Hospital, and I'm a Lagosian. And the idea is to constantly work with Ebony for us to make Lagos Island what Soho London is, what Manhattan, New York is. So my thing is to kind of turn it around. What is contemporary Lagos? That's my idea.
Let's talk about Echo Brass Band. I know you have an active band in the UK, and I know you have an active band in Lagos. The very first time I saw Echo Brass Band perform, I was extremely thrilled by the performance. I saw you, and I was wow. What inspired the Echo Brass Band?
Well, I spend a lot of time in New Orleans. New Orleans, apart from England, New Orleans is like my third home. And Tᴡɪᴛ is the oldest African community in the United States. And every Sunday we do what we call second line, which is a brass band comes out and play the music of New Orleans. So I've been wanting to do something of that, of Echo, because we have a sound in Echo which is not Yaba sound, which is not Ikoyi sound, which is not Victoria sound, which is not Mushin sound. Lagos has this sound, and the Echo Brass Band is like we're the royal sound of Lagos. Echo Brass Band, our job is to kind of continue playing that music, that narrative of Lagos through music. So it's I set it up 15 years ago, and it's a training ground for us to constantly be practicing what is Lagos music, and for young musicians to come, you learn trumpet, you learn percussion, so we can be playing music that we're not going to be depending on NEPA, electricity. So we can play music anytime, you know. So that's the purpose of the Echo Brass Band, is to celebrate Lagos legacy. Yeah.
Beyond the conga, the bongo drum, what other musical instruments would you consider yourself a master at?
Well, I dabble into sakara because I like sakara a lot, and I'm inventing a new sound with sakara. I'm doing what hasn't been done with sakara, making a sakara like a snare drum. So I'm experimenting with sakara at the moment, and I think it's going to be a long experimentation.
So no brass, you don't play the saxophone, trumpet, the keyboard, none of these instruments?
Well, at home in my studio, I have an alto saxophone that I am practicing it, but I dare not play it in front of my wife because my wife is a professional reed player. She's a clarinet and major clarinet. 괶ᴜ is one of the top clarinet player in England.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm sure she'll be like, would you stop that?
No.
but let's talk about how do you while away time if you're not playing music, curating events, or doing any of this serious stuff that you do? What else do you do for fun?
What I do for fun is I'm a golfer. I play a lot of golf, and I cook a lot. So I cook for my family. I'm the chef in my house. I cook for my family. I play a lot of golf. I have 2 dogs, 2 Labrador, Rico and Lola, that I have to walk every day. So that's how I spend my time, and I go on a long walk.
Let's talk about collaborations. Beyond the international superstars you performed with, I know you also have performances with Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ. Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ is a master drummer, the man who set the pace for Afrobeat music to what Afrobeat music. I know when some superstars are in the United Kingdom, Shewo, Femi, Dele Shoshimi, and a few others are around, you get to play with your bands sometimes. What are you working on any collaboration, maybe a collaborative project with any of these musicians anytime soon?
Yes. Yes. I've just met a new friend, a new brother, Ibanj, who I'm going to be collaborating with in the future. I'm continue collaborating with Miss Loxmo. I continue my collaboration with Cassandra Wilson. I'm doing a collaborative project with Bill Summers of Headhunters in New Orleans. And few other people I'll be collaborating with. Yeah.
So this, your knowledge, you're a master conga player, you're a two-time Grammy winner. Beyond the Echo Brass Band, is there a way you pass along this your knowledge to the younger generation? Do you have a training institute? Do you have videos on YouTube to learn? Because it's a very sacred instrument that you play right there.
Yes. Education, arts in education, music is an education has always been my thing for the last 30 years. In England, I go to schools, community center, I hold master classes, I hold workshops, and we run a program, the Yoruba Contemporary Artists that I'm organization for. We run an educational program. So I am always in the school, passing my knowledge, sharing my knowledge with young people. Yes, music in education is a big thing for me, and the plan is that we are planning to open a music center in an art center in Abeokuta. It's part of the thing that we're building.
Oh, great. So let's talk about, I saw your recent activities in Lagos. You've been moving around Lagos with Inekeke. I know Inekeke, Inekorope.
Yes.
Yes. Why the experience? Is it to see something different from what you're used to, or you just wanted to feel the pulse of the people? Or you're working on the project? Is it a form of inspiration for a new project you're working on?
It is kind of a project I'm working on. At the same time, you know, in England, everything in England is done by isolation. You and your family. To meet people is very, very rare unless you're working together. And of course, I take public transport in England, but it's not like Korope. And you know, I've been away for a minute, so I just thought coming to Nigeria. Of course, apart from that, it saves money. I just want to feel my people. You know, I just want to be in the mix of it, smell them, feel them, talk to them. Let's argue that we used to argue. Let's love the way we used to love. Let's fight the way we used to fight. So I think traveling around in Korope, it brings me closer to my people.
I agree. It is mainland 98.3 FM. We are the sound of Lagos. The show is called Afro Time-Out. Our guest on the show today is Olaleko Babalola. He's a Nigerian jazz percussionist and musician, born in Lagos. He's a two-time Grammy winner. He has released multiple albums, has 3 major projects of his. Currently launched a book. You should check it out. I think it's amongst across different bookshops. It should be somewhere in Jazzville, actually. Jazzville and a few other. It should be somewhere in Freedom Park. You should check it out. So let's talk about fun now. And don't forget that we are streaming on our social media platform, on our Facebook and our YouTube. And it's mainland 98.3 FM. So let's talk about Nigerian music. There's highlife, there's Afrobeat, and you must have witnessed this genre of music whilst growing up. How do you describe Afrobeat music from Afrobeats that they play now?
Well, all music made by African origin is African beat. Afro the air. And when Fela and Tony Allen were conceiving that idea, is to kind of do something to push that sensibility of that groove, to push it further. And I've had the privilege to work with Wizkid on several occasions. I did the O2 concert with him for 3 nights, which I really truly enjoyed. And last year, I did the Tottenham Stadium in London with him.
Yeah.
And then I work with the band now. So I think it's I've always been wanted to work with our new young artists like coming out with a different style. It's all music to me, and I'm glad that they kind of included me, my service. They can see that, well, I have a contribution to make, and I'm very, very privileged to be working with these guys. I think sky is the limit. I think it's a good music. Well, it's like when jazz was happening, when Dr. Dre and the whole hip hop thing that happened in the Bronx happened, and it's still jazz. I think what these guys are doing, they're taking our music to another area, which we should all embrace. And it's funky, it's danceable, it's fun. So, and it can create a good creative economy to develop our industry. So we should really embrace it.
If you had a choice in the last 40 years or thereabouts, 40 active years of performing music, since 83 to date, that's 41 years. Has there been a year that you felt, Lekon, this is wahala, make I pause small, maybe make I go back to engineering? Has there been a time you almost put a stop to what you're doing currently, or it has always been glory, glory, glory?
Well, I've never had a regret, because music is a spirit, and I'm privileged that I've never had a day that it came to my mind that I'm going to change my profession. I have been very, very privileged to play from the roster of the world artists and unknown artists. So every situation I go into, I'm learning something new. So I've never had a regret that I'm going to go back to engineering. No.
Let me ask you your thoughts on this. If you could mention 3 artists who have passed on to the greater beyond, both in foreign land and in Nigeria, that you wished you were performing and that you wish you must have been on the project with, who are those artists going to be?
In Nigeria, definitely, I would love to work with Rex Loxton. I would have loved to work with John Coltrane if he used percussionist. And Miles, I'm privileged. I had a good working relationship with Prince, and yes, those artists, and of course, Sarah Vaughan, jazz singer, will be one of the artists, and Abe Lincoln, jazz musician. I had a privilege to work with Frank Kuboye, dentist, Fela Smith. Me and Frank put a band together to perform at the Glastonbury 1990. So I've had a good run of my career. I'm privileged.
Wow, you performed at the Glastonbury. Frank Kuboye, I don't know. I don't know. We've not heard anything about him in a while. I know his wife used to be Fran is late. Okay, that's Kunle Kuboye. Fran is the late wife.
Yes.
That's Fela's niece.
Yes.
She had an amazing song.
Yes.
I know what they used to do in Lagos back in the day with their club.
Yes.
I would ask to leave you alone so I can play more music now. But it's been amazing talking to you, and we'll continue to talk to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a great time out. Have a great time out.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. That was the voice of Leko Babalola, our guest on today's edition of the show. 2-time Grammy winner, a man who has seen it all. Is talking his music, talking everything that is important, his Grammy win, amongst every other musical thing. It is Mainland 98.3 FM. I think there's nothing much to say. Let's go play music from Leko Babalola. I'll play music that you can use as Shokekere, and I also play Kabioye. Have a fantastic rest of the Thursday. I'm back again next week Thursday. There's a call coming in. Let me see. Okay, no. I'll be back again next week Thursday from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock with another exciting edition of the show, Afro Time-Out. In the last 1 month, we've had Ima Ogosi, we've had the man Alex O, we've also had the man Leko Babalola, an amazing Nigerian artist. The first Grammy Nigerian artist. It's easy to say, oh, Seal, to mention Shadi Adu. However, we have a Nigerian who won before all of your major faves now. Femi Anikulapo Kuti has more than 8 nominations. Burna Boy has won, Wizkid has now won. But before all of these guys, there's a Leko Babalola who is in plain sight and whom you might not know. It is amazing to have been a part of the show this wonderful Thursday afternoon. I leave in the eyes of Leko Babalola and his music. Have a fantastic rest of the Thursday and keep it house locked on. At 4 o'clock, there's Okpeyemi Akiyode with the show Situation Room on Mainland FM. Keep it house locked on and have a fantastic rest of the Thursday.
On radio. Introducing classic hits from way back.